Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Heyman speaking to you from our studios on South Brundy Street in Troy, Alabama. We're on Facebook. We're being viewed all over the United States and even into foreign countries on Facebook. What a story we've got to tell today about a young man who started off at Oglethorpe University. He was an assistant AD at Georgia Southern. He was assistant AD at Ole Miss. He was assistant AD at Southern Mississippi. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our good friend Brent Jones is the new athletic director at Troy University. A great picture of Brent and his lovely wife, Tracy, and his two beautiful children, Jackson and Peyton. They're now full term at Troy University as they will head up, Brent will head up the Troy University Athletic Department and, of course, already doing a fine job in his present position as president for External Affairs or the Associate Athletic Director in charge of External Affairs, and they have done a great job since he's been here. He came over with Jeremy, the former athletic director at Troy. He came over with him, and I'm sure it was a decision to stay here in Troy and continue to do the great work he's been doing already. And we've got a wonderful decision was made by Troy University to bring Brent Jones in as our AD, and we're excited about it. Of course, we got a lot going on with the AD. Yesterday's press conference at the and of course it was just full of people, not only the press, but a lot of supporters. You could tell there was a lot of people supporting Brent for the job, and it just turned out to be a very happy occasion and at the Stadium Club yesterday. And again, he doesn't even have to hit the ground running. He's been running, so he's going to have everything ready. And a good picture of the end zone at Troy University on the front page of the Montgomery Advertiser. And the end zone is just getting all kinds of raves from not only sports fans, but the press. There have been a lot of articles written about the end zone at Troy University and what it's done for not only the aesthetics, but the support of Troy University's football program. Not only does it on game day look beautiful in the north end zone, but it also gives the coaches brand new office space. And then, of course, wonderful dressing facilities, weight facilities. We're going to bring this call in here. As soon as we can. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Morning. How are you?
Where are you calling from this morning?
Grayton Beach, Florida.
Where all those yuppies are. A bunch of yuppies down there, isn't it?
There's no doubt there's yuppies down here, man. Ferraris and Porsches and Lamborghinis.
Do you really see a lot of that?
Whatever you can drive, they got it down here, man.
You know, it's where the rich folks go. Is that right? It doesn't look it, but it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually drove through Watercolor and Seaside this morning, and it was actually calm for once. It was nice. Nobody riding across in bikes and having to slam on the brakes. And, not many people moving about. It was almost like a little ghost town this morning. It was nice.
Well, it's exciting times down there, though. It'll be full of folks for long. You have a lot of bicycles go by your place.
I just passed about 20 old geezers on bikes. I guess they got a little bicycle club riding up and down 30A. You know, they got that path on 30A that goes several miles. So a lot of people get out and about.
Yeah, well, it is good. You got some good restaurants around there too. Tell us.
Brago's a really good restaurant. I think we're going to try to go eat there tonight. That's one of my favorite Italian places. And then you've got several other, and and they're claiming the reservoir's going to be back open in October. And I told my wife, I said, I still don't think there's any way that's possible. They'd have to work basically 24 hours a day.
It's according to what they build it. It's according to what they build it.
Already almost in mid-June, so I don't see how that's even possible.
Well, they'll probably build a metal building, don't you think?
He said he's going to build it the exact same way it was. I mean, he has all the specs, and in case a hurricane had ever hit it, he would have all the information, blueprint to build it the same way. So I guess we'll see what happens. He said he's got a lot of old wood as well. So
one of the great places to eat.
To see the progress, I know that.
It's a great place to eat, and I missed it already, and I hope it'll get back soon. And whether you wanted to go at 10 o'clock in the morning for a brunch or hit them at lunch or dinner, one of the best places to eat on the Strip or the Gulf Shores right there in a beautiful, beautiful part of the country.
Of course, I still like my little dives like Sunnyside Grill down in Sunnyside as well.
Wait a minute, you mean you call that place a dive? I can't believe I'm gonna tell them when I go in there this weekend that you call them a dive.
Well, I mean, it's one of those little hole in the walls that are, I think it's, what would you say, 30 years at least they've been open?
Oh, yeah, at least that. A lot longer than that, maybe 40 years, because his uncle was from Birmingham.
But I know most of my young life they were open, so I mean, it's got to be close to 30.
His uncle ran it before he did, and
I always thought that was his dad. That was his uncle?
Yeah, that's his uncle.
So, uncle, okay.
And one thing about
a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers stuff, a lot of University of Alabama stuff.
Yeah, they love Alabama. His uncle used to open up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and he'd be over the grill frying eggs or sausage or whatever, and he'd have an ice cold Pabst Blue Ribbon sitting there. He'd be drinking a beer.
Glenn does the same thing, except it's Michelob Ultra. He drinks beer and cooks back there. That's one of the unique things about it.
Yeah, exactly. But I've been in there before and saw Bobby Bowden eating there. Jimmy Rain's favorite place down there. And let me tell you this: if you like fried eggs with ham, a good thick piece of ham and grits, hot grits, you can't beat Sunnyside Grill in Panama City Beach, Florida.
I mean, my favorite thing is their home fries and their omelets. They do huge omelets, and their home fries are so good. I mean, and then everything's getting cooked off that same skillet. Cooking off over 30 years. I mean,
last time I was there, he had already served 64 dozen eggs.
I will say though, I've been going to Mike's Diner a little bit with Mom down there, and Mike's Diner does a really good breakfast.
Oh, they do. It's a great restaurant, but it's just, and I like it, and I go there, but I like Sunnyside Grill for breakfast, and I like Mike's for lunch.
Of course, you can call in at Thomas's Donuts. That's the secret we gave out the other day.
Don't do that.
A huge difference.
Don't do that. You'll ruin things.
Every time Will Matthews goes down to the beach, that's his favorite picture, is to have a dozen of Thomas's Donuts and say that he's in paradise.
He's probably trying to get it free, don't you think?
I don't know. Of course, big day for Troy Athletics yesterday. I'm sure you probably already talked about it, but I guess they just had the guy hired the whole time. They just didn't make it official. So interesting why that took so long, but I guess they ended up interviewing several candidates, and turns out the guy that was working for him the whole time was the choice. So I saw the interview yesterday. I was impressed, and I didn't realize he was a baseball player at Oglethorpe.
Yeah, he's second baseman,
which was a Division III school, and
good program.
Really, he had ties with Georgia Southern, and the athletic director from La Tech was there, and the athletic director from Southern Miss was there. Of course, that's Jeremy McClain, but that speaks a lot of Brent Jones that those two guys would be there.
Sure does.
On his big day.
No question about it. Of course, his lovely wife, she steals the show everywhere she goes, and Tracy was there with those two beautiful kids, Jackson and Peyton, and they're ready to go, man. Hey, they don't have to hit the ground running. They've been running since he's been here.
Yeah, I mean, it turned out to be a great situation that Jeremy McClain hired him from Southern Miss, and he came to work at Troy, and then when McLean went back to Southern Miss, we had Brent here, and apparently he's, proved to everybody that he's the man for the job. I didn't know what's going to happen with the kid from Birmingham, Kyle George. Did he go to Southern Miss, or is he staying in Troy?
No, he's staying in Troy. I sure hope, because he's a part of that team. He and Brent work real well together. They're very good, close friends, and from what I gather, Kyle George is going to be here with him, which is just add another plus to the hire. Mike, a lot of strong Troy people that were there yesterday or afternoon, and a lot of those people have already dealt with Brent in different occasions, whether or not to give Troy money or try to help with the infrastructure of the program and that type thing. And there's no question about it. He was the favorite among the important Troy people out there, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear that there had been 9 athletic directors in the history of Troy athletics, and of course Jack Hawkins, who always does a great job speaking, mentioned all 9. He also mentioned a funny comment about Johnny Williams, the former athletic director who was the defensive coordinator for Coach Blakeney, and how he was worried that he might have ruined the football program by promoting the defensive coordinator to athletic director, and he made a great comment about what a great job Johnny Williams did. So that was good to hear for people like us that love Coach Williams.
Johnny Williams had done very well since he left us, and did a fabulous job when he was here. But if he had stayed in the position as defensive coordinator, he'd probably be making $1 million a year with somebody.
Yeah.
Because he could coach. There's no question about it. But Johnny, of course, is over the Camellia Bowl in Montgomery, and also has numerous other positions, and has been extremely successful. Since it all started, the first athletic director at Troy was there for over 10 years. I want to say 12 years, Dr. Earl Watson. He was, and then after Watson, Billy Atkins, the football coach, was AD. And I want to say after Billy Atkins, the AD was, I want to say Bradshaw, but I don't know. No, it could have been Tom Jones. I don't know if it was Jones.
I don't remember that name. I mean, Robert Earl Stewart was pretty much, mid-70s till late 80s?
Yeah, Robert Earl was not the athletic director when Billy Atkins was head coach. I know that.
I knew that. Atkins was the athletic director and head coach.
That's right. That's right. And then, of course, Robert Earl Stewart.
After Robert Earl Stewart, you had Red Williams temporarily. I think you had Ken Blankenship, and then you had Johnny Williams.
That's right. I was at the practice that day. Of course, Johnny's one of my closest friends on this earth, and good friend. And I was at practice, watching practice, and I saw the entourage led by Dr. Jack Hawkins Jr. walking down to the practice field, and they were going to tell Johnny Williams that he's the new AD at Troy, which was a phenomenal thing, and he did a fabulous job. And let me tell you this. We got not only a new athletic director, we've got a guy that's on fire for Troy. I mean, let me tell you, we'll be so much better than we've ever been in every athletic program. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, this guy's the real deal, Brent Jones. And he's not a giant of a man physically, but everything else about him, he's a giant of a man.
I think Chancellor Hawkins had him by about a foot when they stood next to each other.
Yeah, well, he's not a tall guy, but hey, listen, some of the greatest men in the world were not tall guys.
Well, the greatest man in the world is not a tall guy. His name's Nick Saban.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought you were going to say Jesus Christ. We don't know how tall Jesus Christ was, but Jesus Christ could be as tall as he had to be. Is that right?
Well, breaking news, you'll like this. Phil Steele magazine will be released on June 25th, but Phil Steele has already come out and is picking the Alabama Crimson Tide to beat the Clemson Tigers in the national championship game this year. What do you think?
Well, everybody, see the Alabama or Clemson, every poll I've seen, I've got 3 of those magazines out. 2 of them like Alabama.
I mean, how can you make up the difference of 44-16? I mean, I know Clemson lost 4 guys on their defensive front that were first-round picks.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
And a quarterback that has a year of experience behind him, a quarterback who riddled Alabama's defense.
They said this year he's gonna wear his hair in a ponytail. You like that?
Oh gosh, I don't like that. Man, oh man.
They're gonna pull his ponytail down.
I'm not real crazy about that, but of course, Phil Steele is pretty accurate. He said Alabama.
He has Michigan and Georgia to be in the playoffs as well. So I'm not a big fan of Michigan and Harbaugh. I don't see that one. I really don't.
Well, I don't know why everybody.
I can see Georgia, but that means that they would have to be undefeated going into playing Alabama. And then, of course, Alabama would beat them in the SEC championship game, and that means that basically a one-loss Georgia losing the SEC championship would get in the playoffs as well, which would be a lot of controversy of all these other conferences upset that, the SEC's getting 2 in.
Yeah, well, that's just where it is. I
really see Florida giving Georgia all they want this year.
Yeah, and they're well coached. Florida is, and hey, you're right. It's gonna be tough. The East is gonna be a lot tougher than it's been in a long time. I think Tennessee's
going to be the coach at Ohio State taking over for Urban Meyer, so I guess maybe they're thinking Harbaugh, who could never beat Urban Meyer, could beat Ron Day. I don't know.
Well, I don't know about that, but Ohio State's going to always be good.
One thing about Harbaugh, though, he makes millions of dollars, doing khaki Dockers commercials. So
is that what he's doing? Oh yeah, you're right. They call him khaki pants. You know where it all started? It all started here in Prattville, Alabama. The major networks were down here because the University of Michigan had a football camp at Prattville High School. Well, what he did, when they got time to start throwing the ball around, Harbaugh went out there and threw 7-on-7 with them in khaki pants, no shirt, and black shoes, and khaki pants, and people started calling them khaki pants.
I've always wondered that story. I mean, you had Bam Richards out of Troy.
That's right.
On staff for Prattville. We had so many other guys from Troy we knew that were on that staff as well. I wonder how out of all the guys, Bam Richards ended up being the one he chose to go to Michigan with.
I know this. Bam
had a big personality, but that's still one of the more amazing stories. At one time, Bam Richards from Troy was on the Michigan staff. I don't know under what capacity, and then Corey Dennis married Urban Meyer's daughter.
Yeah, that's right.
On the staff at Ohio State. I mean, what a crazy world this is.
And named his child Troy.
Yeah, I know.
And so Urban Meyer's grandchild is named Troy.
Wanted to mention, a lot of people hear stories about Nick Saban doing this and doing that, but he does a lot of good things. Alabama's super fan, Walt Gary, which if anybody watched the documentary, he's a kid that had Down syndrome, special needs, and he would go to Alabama's athletic field house on Thursdays before every game, and would give Coach Saban a piece of paper with a score on it, and give Coach Saban a hug, and all the players hugs. And ESPN did a great little segment about it during the football season. But Walt actually passed away at 36, and all the players and all the university officials are just devastated, and a lot of people have been making comments and pictures, but they did a public memorial yesterday at Brian Denny Stadium, and Coach Saban actually gave the eulogy.
Oh, gosh, that's great.
Talked about how much Walt meant to him, so I wanted to mention that today. Anybody that watched that, though, you had to have a tear in your eye. His mom would drive him up there every day, and, of course, Coach Stallings was involved as well with his son, John Mark Stallings, and, they started that foundation at Alabama for special needs, and, it's one of those things that I think Coach Saban gets a bad reputation sometimes, but he really does a lot of good stuff too.
Oh, no question about it. And no telling, did you give a figure on how much money he and his wife have raised since they've been in Tuscaloosa?
I think it's over $7 or $8 million
that he had given to the program. Now, I'm sure he and his tax man.
He's giving it to Nick's kids.
I know it, and of course, I'm sure his tax guy said that he needs to do it to give away to great causes, and that is a great cause called Nick's kids.
We always like to know about lines and stuff to start the season. Alabama against Duke, what do you think that line's going to be?
22, 23.
Line set out in Vegas.
23 points.
It's going to be 30 and a half.
Oh boy. Okay.
If you're an Alabama fan, I mean, how do you want to go to that game? I mean, I know it's in a beautiful facility in Atlanta, and I mean, Alabama fans are rabid, and they're going to probably sell it out or come close to it. But I mean, Duke will be lucky to have 5,000 people there, probably.
No, they'll have. Well, I don't know. You know, they're trying to build something. You know, they're never. You know, they're. I'd play Duke every day of the week, wouldn't you?
Well, Troy played them a few years ago and almost beat them. Of course, the big game will be Auburn against Oregon week 1 in Dallas. Who do you think is going to be the favorite in that game?
Oregon and who now?
The biggest game is Auburn and Oregon in Dallas.
I'd say Auburn be a 5-point favorite.
Auburn is a 2-point favorite over Oregon.
Favorite. Yeah, over Scott Westfall's Oregon Ducks. Quack, 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 quack.
I would imagine a 2-point line that will.
If you got a hat on, is that a Oregon hat or Michigan? Oregon. Let's show it right here. Yeah, look at it. Our guy here in the studio's got an Oregon cap on, Mike, and this cap looks pretty good. It looks like, but the reason that they've got so many uniforms is you got the guy that makes them right there, don't you? I mean, is that right, Mike?
The guy that does what now?
The reason they have so many uniforms and everybody claims that they're so ugly. They've got so many.
Phil Knight, the owner of Nike.
I bet Troy University has 10 different actual sets of, types of uniforms as far as jerseys, helmets.
A lot of people don't realize Adidas is based out of Oregon too.
Yeah, and of course Oregon.
I've been to Nike's headquarters before when I lived out in Portland, and it's in Beaverton, Oregon, which is a suburb. And I'll tell you what, if you ever want to get a great deal on Nike shoes, live out in Oregon for a while. You can get $150 pair of shoes for about $40.
Yeah, that is something, no question about it. Want to mention a great article here with Troy's program, and of course they've got some scheduling decisions they've made.
Yeah, I mean, I was jumping up and down. I was calling people and celebrating. We're playing Southern. That's a huge game we picked up.
Southern University out of New Orleans, Louisiana. I wouldn't mind playing them down there now, you know.
If we got to go travel to Southern in one AA school, we're Division I.
I know, we're in trouble, wouldn't we?
But the most famous alumni at Southern, pretty easy.
I should know.
He just got bought out at Alabama.
Oh, God. We're talking about Southern University of Mike.
Southern University, yeah. Avery Johnson was
Avery Johnson. Okay, the band.
All-time assist leader at Southern. Actually led the country in assists his senior year at Southern.
And they'll bring some fans with them. If you're going to play a one AA team, you want somebody who's going to bring some people, and they'll bring their band. They have a fabulous band, the Southern Band. So
a lot of people are excited about going to Manhattan. Up in, they thought they were going to New York, but they're going to Kansas to play Kansas State.
Yeah, they're going to Kansas, and we've been there before, and it's not real pretty, is it?
No.
Purple.
I don't know what the word is. It kind of looks Gothic looking, kind of like a...
well, they have that gray stone.
The stones.
They have all that gray stone. Yeah, everything is built out of that old gray stone. We call it, what kind of stone do we call it? Oh, gosh, I've known it all my life. But we do have a game scheduled with them. We've got...
Kansas State, is one of those teams that's rebuilding. Snyder, the legendary coach, was kind of forced out, even though, he retired, but he was forced out, and they hired the coach that won 4 or 5 national championships in North Dakota State as their new head coach. I think his name's Cloud.
I tell you what, that is a good hire. I'll take that guy any day of the week.
The main reason he got the job, Kansas State job over Neil Brown, apparently Neil was the second choice there, is this always helps. The athletic director at Kansas State had just left North Dakota State 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that worked out.
Yeah, no question about it. And, of course, we've got a few additional games that we want to talk about later on. Also on the 23rd of September, we're going to play at South Carolina, so that'll be taken.
So adding Southern at home, Liberty at home, which are, not great home games, but then you got at South South Carolina, at Southern Miss in 2021 now.
Yeah. And then
that's going to be two tough road games. We're going to go at South Carolina, at Southern Miss.
Yeah. And then another thing, they're going to play home and home with Western Kentucky, and those dates are not established yet. I think we'll have.
Yeah, that doesn't really excite me that much, but I mean, I feel like that's what you need to do if you want to have more of a competitive chance. Of course, Troy, prove they can beat LSU and prove they can beat Nebraska, but you got to think anytime Troy's on the road against Western Kentucky, or Western Kentucky comes to Troy, Troy's got a good chance. Yeah. Even though Western Kentucky's really improved their program, but really fell off last year and only won 4 games.
Yeah. Well, also they're looking at Memphis as a possible game with Memphis.
It's a done deal. They play Memphis in 2025.
2025, they play home and home. Is that right?
Yeah, they'll play 2025. They'll play in Troy, and then actually 2024 they'll play up in Memphis.
And this will please you very much.
Anybody wants to go to Bill Street and go to Graceland, you can do it in 2024.
That's right. A lot of fun. Also, I will tell you this, that, you like you said, good places to visit and so forth. And you'll get a kick out of this. Guess who's coming to Troy, Mike? That we better be careful with, real careful with. Liberty. Who shot Liberty Valance? He is the bravest of them all.
Yeah, Liberty will be next year in 2021.
They've got a new head football coach. His name is.
Yeah, I'm sure Neil Brown, his staff will remember that trip probably for the rest of their careers. That's one that a lot of Troy fans still have a hard time considering. Liberty gave up 45 points a game and somehow held Troy to 16.
Is that what they did?
How did that happen?
Is that for the year or just before the Troy?
For the year.
Can you believe that? Man, oh man.
Sawyer Smith got a lot better after that game. Let's just say that.
He sure did, and of course that was right after our quarterback had been hurt. Troy could have won 12 games, Mike.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, everybody in the world thought they'd beat Liberty.
Well, especially if the quarterback hadn't gotten hurt.
Well, I mean, a lot of people think they could have won the championship and won at Appalachian State. Of course, Troy was never really in that game. They got down 20-0 early, and
oh yeah, well Appalachian State beat them, and so did our buddies from out west. They beat them.
Well, boys destroyed Troy, 6-20.
And
but it's amazing. You never follow when Troy went out to Boise. I think they're trailing 14-10 with about 5 minutes to go to the game. I think they ended up getting beat by 10 or 11. And Troy played a lot better game out in Boise compared to what they played in Troy.
Oh yeah, no question about it. Of
I
course,
always thought for sure that game would have sold out last year. I mean, it was a good crowd. I think 27,000. You would hope maybe Southern Miss could beat that this year.
Sometimes I think it hurts. They played on Labor Day weekend, and I think that hurts you.
Everybody plays then, though.
I know, but I think that the Troy group people probably wouldn't support it as much as Alabama and Auburn would.
It felt pretty good though, because Alabama didn't play that night. They played later that night against Louisville.
Yeah. But it is fun to know we've got some new schools coming on our schedule, and
aren't you glad we don't have to hear about Tua and Jalen Hurts again this year?
But one,
everybody talked about last year the whole offseason. Well, who is going to be the starting quarterback?
And guess what, Mike? We're playing Arkansas too. We got a game with Arkansas.
I'm not seeing that one. When did that get scheduled?
Michael, Arkansas Pine Bluff. Don't you keep up with their program?
Pine Bluff, yeah.
Don't you keep up with their program?
So that's another swag school. We're playing Pine Bluff. We're playing Southern.
Let me tell you this. That's what I've been saying.
If we're going to play a swag school, might as well just play Alabama State.
Should have played Tarleton. You're right. What? And I don't see a thing wrong with it. You'll come closer to filling it out with Alabama State as you would anybody.
And then if you're going to play a MEAC school, play Florida A&M. Play people that can put fans in the stands.
That's right. And
the number one thing I would ask Brent Jones yesterday is, I know Alabama and Auburn will never play us in football, but what in the world happened with Auburn and Alabama playing us in basketball? I can't even remember the last time Auburn and Alabama have played Troy in basketball. That's
right.
Unbelievable.
They don't. You're right. They don't play Troy. I don't know what to do.
I know Macy beat up in Auburn one time, and of course we lost the other times. And I know we played in Tuscaloosa because we called last minute Coach Macy on the road heading up there, and next thing you know, we're sitting behind the Troy bench on the court watching Troy play Alabama.
I know, and I remember that. That was fun. You're right, no question. I don't know. I don't understand why.
I don't understand that. I mean,
it would help Alabama. It would put.
I mean, that should be something that hopefully Brent Jones will talk to Alan Green and talk to Greg Byrne, the Alabama athletic director, and hopefully we can at least start getting basketball back on the schedule again.
With Byrne at Mississippi State at one time.
Byrne was at Mississippi State
when Troy beat him.
Arizona. And his dad was the athletic director at Texas A&M for several years.
Yeah, I got you. Let me put you on hold a second. Got a call coming in. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Mike, it's Max. How you doing?
Max Howell calling in from Fulton, Mississippi. Max, hold on 1 second now. I'm going to come right back to you. Let me put you on hold here, my friend. And, okay, now we go conference, hold, conference, hold, and then play. There we go. All right, we're back now. Max, you're on the line?
I'm right here.
Max Howell and Mike Amos also calling in, so we've got, we're set up this morning. And, of course, Max, Troy has a new athletic director. His name is Brent Jones, and I tell you, from what I've seen of him since he's been here, that was a great pick.
Mike, I think we talked a little bit about that early on after Jeremy left, and he seemed to be the front runner, but you never know. I followed Dr. Hawkins' selection process.
Yeah.
I think he said he actually had over 40 applications, and I'm sure with that many people and the way Troy's moved up nationally, I think, I'm sure there were some great people. But congratulations to Brent. I'm glad certainly he made his mark there, and he's rewarded for that.
No question about it. And only bad thing is he's living next to a guy that's got more Corvettes than anybody in the country.
Who is that?
Joe Bowell. Nick's buddy Joe and my buddy Joe. Great Troy supporter, but he collects Corvettes.
That's a good collection.
And next time you're in town, I'll take you over there and show them to you.
Hey, Max, Phil Steele's coming out in 2 weeks, and everybody, loves Phil Steele. I don't know how it all happened. I don't know. You probably interviewed Phil Steele over the years, but he's predicting Alabama to beat Clemson in the national championship. He also has Michigan and Georgia in the playoffs as well. What's your opinion on that?
Nah, you know what, Georgia, Kirby's done a good job recruiting, Michael. And I'm telling you, I don't take anything away from Kirby. Kirby's lost 2 ball games from the sideline. And I can tell you the play they lost it on, and I've looked at that game twice, play-by-play. And I just said, again, Georgia's going to get there one day probably, but I think all the hoorah around them, and I feel kind of the same way about about Michigan. Harbaugh's done a good job of putting up, but he can't quite get them over the hump. Whatever he's doing there is not the NFL. And I think that's what he's tried to, implement there. So this time of year, though, hey, what if, let's just say, what if Georgia loses at quarterback? You know who number 2 is? A kid that never taken a snap before.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's great to prognosticate and look at that thing from the top to the bottom, but there's so many things that can happen. The schedule, what about injury? You can't coach for that. There's just a lot of things. And Alabama, not a whole lot different in the quarterback situation. I mean, Matt Jones ended up 2 years in a row as the best quarterback in the spring.
Yeah.
Those other 2 guys.
And he couldn't start at Troy. I doubt Max Jones could start at Troy.
That's exactly right. And, you go back and look at the 2 freshmen, going to be pretty good players. I watched them in the spring, guys. No, not yet. Not a long way from them. So the injury factor, I think, is really the big thing you got to pay attention to this time of year.
Yeah, Alabama. I mean, if you look at that schedule, man, they've really got a pretty easy schedule. So I mean, that's the only games you got to really concern yourself about more than anything is possibly Texas A&M and then possibly going on the road.
LSU, you better be worried about LSU.
Michael, they got LSU coming
in
down.
Tuscaloosa.
I know it is. doesn't matter. I saw LSU beat them 9-6 one year in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, I was there. You know, when I was at that game in Tuscaloosa, I was on the 50-yard line, and LeBron James was right above me in the box.
Oh, boy.
Right. Well, I was there too.
LeBron James came to that game.
So you know, you can't. And I do think LSU is the team to watch. I do think Jimbo's another year away for getting Texas A&M in the competition. And I think in the East, I think Florida. Once they get the talent level, they're going to give Georgia all they want. I'll tell you what, if Dan Mullen had Georgia's talent right now, they'd be making a run for the national championship. I promise you.
You know, Kentucky's better. Tennessee's going to have to be better. You know, that's two guys that we know they're going to be much better, you know, in the East.
I think the defense in Kentucky might be something you got to watch. I watched them in the spring. They couldn't stop running water.
Oh, they could.
I'm telling you, they couldn't. It was bad. I got them at 8 wins. They can't win 10 like they did last year. I just don't believe that. You know, Jerry Jones is going to be okay. I think they ended up with a transfer as well. So, you know, I think they'll be competitive. But it's going to be right now, and once Tennessee gets back, it's going to be those three, just like it is now, you know, in the West with Alabama and LSU and Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Auburn has got a chance.
Yeah.
Don't let me discredit them, but their schedule is obscene. It's so bad.
I tell you what, I can't see how anybody could not vote Clemson in. Like Michael said, they scored 46 points.
Look, they beat Alabama like hands down this past year. And
the quarterback's coming back. Most everybody's coming back too, aren't they?
Yeah, they lost with 3 defensive linemen. That's one thing. You know, of course, they got the quarterback. They got a decent running back, wide receiver. They got the kid from Phoenix City. I think it's going to be really, really good before he finishes. But and Dabo does a good job. I'm going to tell you, they do as good a job. They just have a different atmosphere in the recruiting and in the whole program up there that most college programs do in the country. And the kids love it. You know, they play hard for him, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah.
There's great unity. I mean, that staff's just stayed together for so many years. It's unbelievable. And, of course, you got Terry Bowden coming in. Have you read the story, Max?
That's a disruptive factor.
He's going in as a GA at 63 years old to get a master's at Clemson. Really, really amazing story.
He wants to coach football bad, doesn't he?
I don't know what Akron paid him off, you know, to get rid of him, but evidently he's saved enough money along the way that he can afford to do that.
Yeah, I would imagine he has plenty of money.
Michael, I don't know how many people are going to be clamoring to hire him, though. You know, he's been there a year or two. Maybe he just wants that on his resume. I don't know.
Well, it makes you feel like, I mean, he's getting a master's in athletics administration. It makes you feel like he's wanting to be an AD later in life.
Well, later in life, when you get 63 at the collegiate level, if you are later in life already, tell me.
Max, you're still going. You know, a lot of these guys, you know, want to just stay in it the rest of the, as much as they can.
That's a good life. Don't get me wrong, but listen, when you got the age factor, Michael, is a reality in the communication. That's where it comes. And it is a perception. I'll be honest with you, because I've known guys that, you know, were 60, 70 years old could outwork most of the 40-year-olds. But it's a perception that you're dealing with 18 to 20-year-olds, and somewhere that communication gap breaks down. You coached with Bobby Bowden. How old was Bobby Bowden when he finally retired? He's 80. He just turned 90.
So he was at least 80, wasn't he?
He probably was 78. He's 78 to 80, somewhere in there, when he finally stepped down. And that was not by his choice, if you remember. He wanted another year or two.
You know, a lot of people forget about
Jimbo Fisher in as coach and waiting.
Yeah. But you know, and you know this well, Max, people forget that Bobby Bowden was an offensive genius. I mean, he was an offensive guy. I mean, a guy that could score a lot of points. Isn't that right? Especially when you were there.
He was, but let me tell you something, Michael. Mike, the recruiting was unbelievable now. When he was at Sanford, all those kids that ran those scores up, they'd already played in the SEC. And when he was at the junior college down there in Georgia, when he was doing all that, I mean, I take nothing away from him, but talent goes a long, long way when you're at that level.
Yeah.
People fail to remember those 14 years that he stayed in the top 5. I was there for 2 of those to begin with. We were playing at the level Alabama's playing now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we we were number one recruiting class in the country.
Nobody would play Florida State. Everybody wanted to stay away from them, didn't they?
I'm telling you. And no, guys, let me tell you, it wasn't only just a good we were physical. We would knock your eyeballs out. I'm telling you. Mickey Andrews was defensive coordinator, and this is the first thing he said every day. Guys, when we out here to scrimmage today, don't stop when you hear the whistle. Stop when the whistle quits blowing. What that means is we'll take 15.
I got you.
You know, if you get ahead on him. I'm just telling you now.
No question about it.
It was vicious.
Of course, it's all happening now. There's a 7-on-7 at Troy today, Max. Troy University is sponsoring it, a 7-on-7. So we'll see some of the best high school receivers and linebackers and quarterbacks that you'll see anywhere. Hey, what I'm saying is it's just around the corner, Max. I mean, it is just around the corner.
Yeah, I got a good friend that does the opposite from 707. He holds defensive line camps. He cuts, you hear this? He does 2 a summer down at Nicholls State in Louisiana. He has to cut it off at 500.
Yeah. That's where Manning has his camp, isn't it? The Mannings have their camps at Thibodeau too, don't they?
Yeah, well, I'm telling you now, that's the whole program, the whole system has changed. It's evolved into what it is now. And of course, the summer camps at major colleges, that's nothing but a tryout. They don't put the pads on, but the skill positions. It's a selection only. And invitation only. Most of those camps are now.
Another thing too, people forget this, that recruiting. You start recruiting in December now. Is that right, or November?
Yeah, well, you can sign them. You can sign the early period.
I know that's what I'm saying. When is the early period? Is it in December or November?
No, I believe it's the last. I'm trying to think. It's the last weekend in November. I believe.
Okay, yeah.
It goes back to. I know when I came out, you could sign, if you go play in the SEC, you could sign the first day would be the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That was a signing day. That was early. That was a Sunday. Now, if you're going outside the SEC to play, you had to wait till February.
Yeah.
So the thing that's changed, though, now is they're active recruiting down to the 9th grade. That's where really they start looking. It used to be the 10th, 11th.
I asked somebody the other day. Academically, they start looking at the 9th grade. These kids right now, pilfering around, like using that word my mother used to say, pilfering around, and not doing their.
I'll tell you, I'll give you one little thing how even the high schools. I know back when I was with Dwight Thomas at Escambia. Not only guys, that program we were so far ahead of everybody else. Of course, we had great talent there as well. But we had study hall every Saturday morning. We had counselors that would come in. I was there 85 and 86. We'd have counselors come in on Saturday mornings. Any kid that had an athletic ability to go to college, we never had one that didn't qualify, that didn't pass the ACT or SAT. They got academic credit for coming to summer school to work out. We had 200 kids in the program. We had 14 high school coaches. None of us taught academics.
And let me tell you something a lot of people don't know. That guy was the best coach in Florida, and he went to Troy State Teachers College and played under William Clipson. Is that right?
Right. Absolutely.
Dwight Thomas was a Troy guy, and people don't realize that.
What he does now...
Not Dwight Thomas. What is this?
Talking about giving back. He holds NFL-type combines for high school kids all over the state of Florida and doesn't charge them a nickel.
Yeah.
He invites them free, pays the bills to have them housed and fed for 3 days, and he must do 10 or 15 in the summertime every year.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. You remember back when you were playing, and this happened usually in the spring, I reckon, before recruit signing day. But when you played at Troy, you used to have to go head-to-head with tryouts. I mean, guys that were trying out.
Yeah, you're right. Spring training was a tryout camp. That's what it was.
And we had one guy that his name was Muggsy Calvert, and he was from Fairhope. He weighed about 260 pounds. And what he did, he took pride in busting people's helmets. And they would put him up against these high school kids that came in on their own to try out. And that wasn't fair, man. That was just not fair.
And I remember that, Mike, very well. That some of those kids would come in there, and they found some good players along the way. but there would be some that would.
Oh yeah.
It was a shame how bad they were.
Yeah, they should have just sent them up, put them up against freshmen, but they put their varsity guys up against.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. I remember Faircloth. It was pitiful.
Exactly right.
Kids, I feel sorry for them.
Of course, we're talking football, and I saw Coach Chip Lindsey yesterday, and they all fired up. And but one good thing, he says, we're going to shut it down after this practice today, or this 7-on-7, and give my folks a chance to go on vacation. You know, people don't realize that, but these guys, they don't get Christmas off. You know what I mean?
No, they don't get anything.
I mean, they're working all the time.
Yeah, that's
good thing the beach is only 2 hours away.
Yeah, I know it.
That's the part I think that's changed. Because we went through that transition where summertime, none of the kids were on campus hardly. Most of them had to go home and take a job or whatever. Then because there weren't any scholarships available. Then they made scholarships available summer, and they started coming in the 2 terms in the summer school. Brought them in sometime in July and get them ready. Then all of a sudden they stayed the whole summer. Now it's basically 12 months a year. It's when you got them. But the programs have been, have gotten so sophisticated. The high school kids come there way more schooled in the game as far as skills concerned than it was when the kids we recruited. Back in the
the big thing now is they have breakfast. They have lunch, and they have dinner. Well, now they've got another meal in between those.
Oh yeah.
In fact, they serve them 4 meals a day now.
Now, don't you remember, Mike?
We got an extra roll. We thought we were doing something,
And then we supplemented that with a scrambled egg sandwich at the students.
Exactly right. And those were wonderful sandwiches for 99 cents. I think, if I remember, or maybe less than that. But no, excuse me, 50 cents. And you're right.
That was a lot of money by then.
50 cents. Well, it might have been a quarter. They might have been a quarter.
Yeah.
But I remember it well.
I realize today, how different it was in those days. Most people, I hate to say this, most people that, experienced that, a lot of them are gone now.
Yeah.
They aren't even still around.
Now when they meet a pretty girl, they say, can I come up to your room and study? Or he could say, look, well, they're going to be, they're going to check us out, so don't come to our place.
Right.
And probably the worst thing you ever had to do in your life is catch a good player that was going to help you on Saturday, missing curfew.
And that's the truth.
I mean, that had to be tough, and all those players knew it, and you knew it. It wasn't anything you could do.
Now I tell you what, when right after that, I don't forget the name of the hall where we finally got the top 2 floors. We housed all the guys together. Well, part of my job was lock the doors, at 11 o'clock. Of course, I'd do room check, and then the other side of that, I'd have to go and lock the door at 6 and get them up so they could eat and get to class.
And one of the reasons was Atkins and Creel were married. Were you married at that time?
Yeah, I was.
But you were the youngest.
For a short period of time, I was.
But then, of course, things have definitely changed. They don't feed them like they feed them now by any means. It doesn't even come close, the food. I mean, they can sit there and eat for 2 hours if they want to, and then come back 2 hours later and start eating again.
Yeah, the nutrition has changed so much. Of course, off-season conditioning program and the strength and conditioning coach that are hired now that. And I've said forever that that's after the head coach is hired, that's the most important guy on the staff.
Yeah,
because he's with them the year round. He's the only one who can go on the field with them throughout the year. Yeah. And he sees them every day at more hours than the head coach does.
Oh, man, that's why Alabama pays Scott Cochran $600,000 a year.
Exactly right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
$600,000 a year for a strength coach.
Boy, that's something. Yeah, we need to.
I mean, and I remember when they didn't even have that. They didn't even have a program, much less a
Max, we're going to go on commercial. We'll be right back with more of Today in L.A.
Are you a driver trainee just finishing school and want to drive an automatic truck? Then call Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Right, Puzzle? We have automatic trucks. That's right. And we will reimburse you for your driver training. No pets? Not at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. At Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we thought of everything. We thought of the killer for your fuzzy friend. Right, Fuzzy? Tell them about it. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Come drive for the best today. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Tell them, Fuzzy.
This is Bobby Flay.
I'm coming for you, Bobby.
They say he's never had to eat his words. But if he did, they'd be delicious. They say the word flavor was named after him. They say he can make an omelet without breaking an egg.
We were hoping for that.
They say you can beat Bobby Flay. What do they know? Beat Bobby Flay, Thursday night at 10 on Food Network.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up. You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town & Country Flooring Center.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Well, I went to bed at 5 o'clock last night. Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Dixieland Dental, located 9 miles north of Dothan on Highway 231. Dr. Michael Precise, Dr. John Strength, Dr. Damon Strength, and Dr. Robert Precise make up one of the largest dental clinics in Alabama, Noble Manor. We appreciate them. Back to our show, Max Howell calling in from Fulton, Mississippi this morning. And, you know, people, I'm not being facetious when I say this. Football is just around the corner because, you know, you think about it, after January 4th, Max, everybody's back in the office. Isn't that right?
They are. That's true. And of course, Media Day actually launches this year's July 15th. Thank goodness they moved it back to Birmingham from Atlanta.
Okay, good.
That 15th through the 18th, all the coaches, and they'll have a couple of players from each of the SEC schools there in Birmingham at the Galleria. And that's always a fun time for radio people. It's, of course, it's gone, you know, pretty much to a lot of internet folks there now and in the TV. But, I mean, the last time I did a show there, I think we had 75 or 80 radio stations lined up. I think they've dropped down to about 45 or 50 now. They've raised the cost of the facility to get you hook up and all that, the tables you got to rent. And a lot of the smaller stations can't do that. They've kind of purged it, but less than that guys went to Atlanta last year. But they couldn't even house in Atlanta where they tried to do it, whether it's the College Hall of Fame area. They didn't. They had 3 different buildings. You had to go. The weather was awful. I remember it rained like crazy, and people really. I think that's what ran them out of Atlanta. Brought everybody back to one roof.
Now the SEC office is still located in Birmingham, isn't it?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that big line.
You know, they have a football stadium right there across from it. I mean, if you've not been to Birmingham.
Oh yeah, the new stadium is going to be called what?
You can't go 59 or 20 through town anymore. You got to cut through the industrial park.
Yeah. What are they going to name that stadium? Do y'all know?
Whoever gives the most money.
It's going to be Protective Life Stadium.
Protective Life Stadium.
Millions of dollars.
I had a feeling that could be that because Protective Life's a big company. You've been in the insurance business, don't you agree, Max?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what you have to do now. You know, you got to go get that corporate dollar.
You're right.
You know, to do that. And because a lot of cities, you know, the cities used to fund it through a bond issue.
Yeah.
But they quit doing that because folks, you know, balked on the taxes and all that kind of stuff to repay the balloon. But so they've gone to big corporations now.
That is going to really help.
It's going to be real interesting. They're going to turn the old Caraway Hospital area next to the stadium into an entertainment district, which they've already got an entertainment district next to the BJCC arena where the Sheraton is. But that's going to be pretty interesting how they're going to police that, because parts of that area are not the best places in Birmingham.
No, it's not.
So they'll clean it out.
It's a major concern. I think maybe they think it, Michael, it'll kind of clean up itself with the number of activities they have down there. But guys, sometimes, you know, I hate to say it, but that never happened.
You know, Max, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something that I really don't like saying. UAB has got to be the most up-and-coming football program in America. When they get this gym, it's going to enhance their program. This new stadium, it's going to enhance their program tremendously.
A lot of people, I don't think, understand the politics, Mike. That you have to understand what UAB is. That's the medical school for the University of Alabama.
Yeah, exactly.
For many years, the same board of trustees governed both, and they were not going to have a duplicate program athletically. And that's what, you know, Coach Bryant came out and said that at one particular time. If they apply support a program that eventually would compete with him to recruit the Birmingham market.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, but I think it's kind of changed. I think there's been enough public support. You know, and Bill Clark's done a really good job. They kept him on after they shut the program down for a couple of years. And he's you know, he brought it back, and he's recruited well, and he's a good football coach. So, you know, if they can maintain that, you know, I think the city of Birmingham will be proud of them.
And South Alabama's program.
The renderings came out yesterday, and this is pretty exciting for maybe bigger games in the future. They said that possible expansion could be up to 75,000.
Gosh.
If you do that, you could bring in maybe an Auburn and an Alabama to play.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. And you know, and I'm sure they've got. I'll be interested to watch that just to see. What it's going to start at like 40? Is that right? Is that the number?
Well,
I heard 50. I heard 50.
But now the rendering came out yesterday at 45. So now I don't know exactly what the number's going to be. But
I've heard the 40, 45 number.
Thank you, man.
First. Now,
Thank you, brother.
I heard the 55 number.
So, but they actually are supposed to start later this summer, is what they said. So we'll see.
Yeah. I think
when you're dealing with anything with the city of Birmingham, I guess you got to cross your fingers.
I don't tell. But see, you know, that's almost any big cities that way. But, I mean, it's the politics inside. Is just.
Let me tell you some more news as far as the rich get richer. Auburn's building a only football facility. A football-only facility at Auburn, and that's been approved, and all that's going to do is enhance that Auburn football program.
Well, you know, I hope they can do better this year. I just read an article this morning that, you know, that they're now projecting that this might be just his best team. But there's something missing in that. I don't know what it is. There's some communication gap, or it's somewhere it's in the administration itself. You know. Did you ever read anything about the athletic director? He's almost non-existent in that program.
I know it. He's sort of a front man. Is that right?
Well, nobody can find out, Mike. What the heck's going on? I mean,
I think he just keeps the books, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I mean, you never.
Yeah, he's low profile. Let's just say that, very low profile, and you know, Auburn.
He's reaping the benefits this year, though. My God, the basketball team goes to the Final Four. The baseball team is going to Omaha.
And I would remind you that that game is tonight. Is that right, Mike?
No, they play Sunday night against Mississippi State.
Oh, excuse me, Sunday night in the College World Series, and
Mississippi State is really good.
Yep, they are.
Have you been to that new baseball facility? That's the nicest baseball facility in the country. Have you been there yet, Max?
Oh yeah. Let me tell you, guys, they got condos. You can buy a condo and live there now at the stadium.
Oh boy.
For baseball. Oh yeah, it's they really upgraded, and they recruit well, and you know, Ron Polk gets a lot of credit for establishing that program there. Look at their attendance; they outgrew LSU this year for all their home games. They were the leading draw in the SEC. I think over 200,000 for the season. And they beat Auburn 2 out of 3 times the time they played back in March. So they feel pretty good about that game on Sunday night.
You got Mississippi State, who's never won a national championship in baseball, been to the College World Series, I think 11 times. Florida State's been to the College World Series 27 times and never won a national championship.
How could that? I always wondered how that guy kept his job. I reckon because he wins, because he had a terrible personality.
He wins, man. He's been there for.
Oh, I know it. I just saw him one day in Troy show himself up real bad about throwing dirt on the umpire, but that's the only time I ever been around him.
Well, you know, the football program carried him for so many years, and then the basketball, you know, it's been better than average for the last few years. And Mike Martin's been, you know, I was there in the 80s. Mike probably came there in the late 70s.
Yeah.
As a baseball coach. And I think this is his last year.
Yeah, you know, the coach before him was
the football program been turned around.
Yeah.
They aren't going anywhere. I mean, that program's going to just stay stagnant from top to bottom.
Yeah. And, you know, ain't that amazing, though? I don't consider them a threat anymore, and that's a shame, isn't it?
Well, it is a shame.
Because they recruited better than anybody over the last 25 years, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Well, Coach Bowden, for 14 years, he was in the top 5, won 2 national championships, should have won 3 more.
Yeah.
The kicking had a little kicking problem. But other than that, you know, he made his mark there. And for it to end up like, and then, of course, Jimbo comes in behind him with Jameis Winston, wins the national championship. But then it starts to deteriorate after that championship, and he goes to A&M, and then Willie Taggart, I don't know, if you look at his overall record, guys, you know, he got a tag for rebuilding programs, but he never stayed anywhere very long, a couple of years. And if you look, I believe his winning percentage is like 62 or 3%.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Overall from top to bottom. If Mike got that job, then done though.
Well, let me tell you this about Florida State, and you know, and their motto at one time they would play anybody anywhere. You know, they couldn't get. You know, they were so successful, nobody wanted to play them. You know, and that's how they got famous. I reckon. You know, they would upset Michigan at Michigan or whatever. You know, but it's just lost some of its mystique. You know what I'm talking about? Mystique.
Yep.
You know, like Alabama people used to run out on the field against Alabama, and you'd ask them who do you think will win. He said they'll probably win by 3 or 4 touchdowns, and you'd be asking one of their players.
Yeah. Well, you know, you go back and look though, Mike, from top to bottom. There's the short history that they said. Remember, that was an all-girls school.
Yeah, that's right. And Troy back, I want you to say, late 40s, Troy beat them 35 to 7. Did you know that?
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I read that. I should have remembered it.
It dates back to the late 40s, but Troy beat Florida State in the football game.
Yeah, and then before Coach Bowden got there, they had some of the longest losing streaks in the history of college football.
Exactly.
I mean, but you know, he worked and you know, all the rumors. I was there when Alabama entertained, thought he was going to come in there and hire him away, and of course, you know, he got up there, he went for an interview, and he didn't want the interview. He wanted to be hired. He actually signed with Alabama out of high school and got married, and ended up going to
he went to Woodlawn. He went to Woodlawn High School.
Right.
But you're right. He was a legend, no question about it. I want to mention that the Max, I know you'll be watching this as the U.S. Open starts today, and what so many people like about this, they're playing out in California, so they don't even start until 9:45. Is that Eastern or Central Time, Mike? Do you know? Mike, I believe, has left us, but
they're 2 hours difference.
All right, 2 hours difference. So, so what time? So 9:45.
So the first tee time's going out will be around 8 o'clock Eastern time.
Okay, and so you'll be able to watch it on TV pretty easily. Is that right?
Yeah, actually Central time. The first start will be 8:45 Central time. Okay,
good. Of course, Middleton is in the 11-13 group with Dustin Johnson.
Of course, won Pebble Beach earlier this year, and he'll turn 49 on Sunday, so that would be the biggest story of them all if Mickelson could finally win the Grand Slam and the majors.
Yeah. And now Charles Howell III is playing at 4 o'clock. Is he related to you, Max?
No, I used to joke about that, but maybe Branch came way down the line somewhere.
Yeah. Of course, the first guy.
I think sometimes, like, who would be a good fit? Like, if Tiger doesn't work out at Florida State, I mean, who would you bring in? I mean, would you ever go back to the old tradition and like bring in like Mark Rick? I mean, would you want to consider him again if he wants to coach?
Let me tell you what they need to do. They need to bring back Archie Manning to be their head football coach. Hey, let me ask you, I'm just saying this. That sounds crazy, but not Archie, but Peyton Manning would be probably a great head football coach.
But he'll never coach. Why should he?
I know it, but what I'm saying is just
$200 million in the bank.
I know it, but just because he loves it, you know. he would be a big name. He would be a big name.
Mike, but all the stuff you have to put up with.
Yeah.
You think the fans overall care about if he loves it or not?
Eli'd be his offensive coordinator.
Florida State would have been patient. I think Neil Brown would have been a good head coach of Florida State.
I don't think there's any doubt. I agree with you 100%. Look, that administration down there does not call the shots on that. That booster club calls the shots on that.
Yeah.
That's what happened with when Coach Bowden got pushed out, when they brought Jim Bowie, and all of that happened outside the administration. Remember, the president played for Bobby Bowden.
Oh yeah, okay.
He was dismissed.
That does have a lot to do with it.
He didn't have any choice. I mean, the booster club raises millions of dollars every year, and they call the shots in the athletic department.
Ladies and gentlemen, our show is brought to you by Alabama Real Estate Connection. See Carol Amos calling today at 672-0100, 672-0100, right here in Troy. I want to mention Troy Health and Rehab for long-term health care, short-term rehab, the best place to go in Pike County. Dixieland Dental, we appreciate them. Max Howell is our guest. Mike Amos also calling in from Florida. What's going on in Fulton, Mississippi this time of year? Are you cooking for anybody?
Well, let me just tell you, I cooked this past weekend. I did shrimp and grits for a group. And I sauteed the shrimp, and I put a cream sauce on it and a big old bucket of grits and loaded up with butter. And that went well. But on my side dish, though, I did a gumbo with roux and okra and sausage and shrimp. And I'm telling you guys, that was about as good as I've ever done.
And you had chunks of shrimp and chunks of fish in it, didn't you?
Oh,
sausage.
Yeah, I make it thick, man. And I put rice in there. I'm a big rice guy anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And I gotta tell you, the first time I ever made the gumbo, and I made the homemade roux, the base. I was standing there, never will forget it. Had a big old iron skillet, and I had my flour and my little water in there, and I was stirring it along. And I had, what I was using to stir with? A plastic spoon.
Oh, no.
That sucker melted.
Oh, boy.
What I did, I had a big cloud, and I had one of those big, thick, that 2.5, 3 inches deep skillets. I just added a little more water, a little more flour, and I served it. Didn't have to kill it.
Max, how much would you charge to come do a breakfast somewhere, or no, not a breakfast, but a dinner one day?
Well, all I have to do is just take care of my expenses, a couple $100 and furnish all the food, and I'll cook and stay and chat and visit with them.
I tell you what.
Max, where do y'all get shrimp in Fulton, Mississippi? Is there a seafood market?
No, well, the trucks run up here, but we got two pretty nice restaurants.
Yeah, Mike.
I would tell you they just dipped it out of the Tennessee Tom Biggie, but that's not.
Yeah, it comes right by there, doesn't it?
I was looking at Ole Miss football. I was looking at their schedule the other day, and I'm looking at it right now. They start the season at Memphis. You think if Luke loses at Memphis, he gets fired, and they just go ahead and put Rodriguez as head coach?
You know what? Now, that sounds crazy, Max, but that might happen.
Well, let me tell you, Rodriguez was not Matt Luke's first choice. He wasn't even a choice. He was hired by the former athletic director, and that's why they hired him to prep. look, the burn up here right now is that, Matt's got to win 6 or 7 to keep his job. And I don't know that he can. He's had a pretty good year. The big kid, they ended up with a 5-star running back out of Jackson, Mississippi, that was going pro baseball. He was a first-round draft pick. And he turned down pro baseball. He'd already had $3 or $4 million in the bank. He had returned that money.
Oh, boy.
And then he came on to Ole Miss and was going to try to play football.
Why in the world would you do that?
Well, he's
millions of dollars.
Max, now let me ask you a very personal question. Does the Manning run still call a major shot at Ole Miss?
Well, he did.
Does Archie still call a major shot?
He lost a lot of credibility with the Hugh Freeze hire, I promise you.
Oh, he was right in the middle of. He was a Freeze guy.
He and Sean Toohey. Remember, Sean's the one that his wife is the one that's in Blindside.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, Sean. I think Sean owns 10 or 12 fast food chain restaurants in Memphis.
Yeah, that TV show made them rich, didn't it? Or the movie did.
That movie made about $300 million.
Oh man, I knew it.
I just saw the numbers this past week.
Yeah, I mean, you had Tim McGraw play him, and Sandra Bullock played the wife.
Yeah, I know.
Well, the other side of that too is that Michael Oher now has come out and said that movie was his life was nothing like that movie was.
It was worse. I bet it was worse. Probably worse, wasn't it?
Way worse. Yeah, it was. it wasn't. He's been slandering pretty hard up here in Mississippi.
And one thing about
once he moved in with them, they weren't as great as everybody makes them out to be. Right. Is that what he's saying? I need to read up on that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Because they came across in the movie as like saviors. So
very true, and that's why I think that was the image the movie projected, and that's where they made all the money. It was a kind of an interracial thing, but that doesn't. Ohr came out recently and said, "Hey, life wasn't like that."
Yeah, I bet. No question about it.
Money's already made and put in the bank now, so it doesn't matter, I guess.
We're gonna take a short break.
Ole Miss's schedule is non-conference. It's not tough at all. You got Memphis, you got southeastern Louisiana, you got California, which will be tough, and then you got New Mexico State. So they maybe should win all those. Well,
they should, but again, they got one quarterback. He's got any kind of he played a little late this past year. And other than that, the freshman running back, the offensive line is going to be pretty good. The defense, no linebackers with any experience. The only guys in the secondary in the front 7, 2 of them transferred. One of them got hurt already, so they're going to be down again there. They're going to have to score 40 or 50 to win every game, or to win the games, and I don't know that they can do that.
Yeah, I agree. And, of course, Mississippi State's the same way. Without Fitzgerald at quarterback, I think they're going to be in trouble.
Penn State's number 1 quarterback transferred.
Is he good?
Well, he started for Penn State the last 2 years.
What's his name, Mike?
Quarterback from Penn State just graduated, McSorley. This is the backup, Stevens.
Stevens,
yeah, that's Stevens.
He played at every ball game.
Yeah. He's a real athletic guy, and he's already graduated, so he'll be able to play this year.
Stevens, yeah.
He'll start for him.
All right.
The defense won't be nearly as good, guys. They had 3 first-rounders off that defensive front, 2 off the front, and 1 defensive back. They won't be nearly as good. I think they're a 7-8 win team. Morehouse has still got to prove himself. He lost to Florida and Kentucky last year, which they should have been much better talent-wise than either one of those teams. And he lost those on the sideline.
Yeah.
So,
what did he?
He also lost the bowl game to Iowa. I still can't believe that.
Right.
Yeah. What did he bring to the table?
Well, he was at Penn State.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't know where. I don't know how that name circulated around. And I think you should go back and look. Some of their hiring recently has been out of the market here. Now he kept Terrell Buckley, which we had at Florida State as a wide receiver coach, and he kept one other kid, Mark Husband. He kept him at Markstone.
Yeah, that's right. Husband's used to be
at Austin Peay. Yeah. Now Joey Jones is still on the staff, I think.
He had to have those guys to recruit. Because 6 of those staff members were at Penn State or somewhere up north.
Michael, that Husband that used to be at Sanford is now at Austin Peay?
He used to be at UNA and was the head coach of Louisiana Lafayette.
Yeah.
He won 9 games, 4 straight years at Lafayette. And then he put him on probation.
Oh, did he? Where is he now?
He's at Austin Peay.
Austin Peay.
Is he the head coach at Austin Peay? Okay, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more of Today in L.A.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
I love my job. We get to help people who are having the worst day of their life.
You just got to be ready for whatever hits.
She wasn't breathing. She was almost dead.
Stay still there. Stay still. It's fine.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Did every day?
Yeah, every day. Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by All-Star Collision on the bypass right here in Troy, and we appreciate them so very much. They can make your car or truck look new after an accident, and I tell you, he's done a lot of work for me over the years. Also, Max Federal Credit Union on the bypass. We got Max Howell, ladies and gentlemen, one of the best-known sports analysts in the country, especially in the Deep South. Max, you've been doing it how many years now?
Well, we got 26, I believe 20. I spent 32 on the field and 26 in radio.
And of course, what would y'all be doing? Like a big radio station in Atlanta, and you got it.
We'll be following.
You know, you got 500,000 people listening to you on that are out on the road trying to get back home. I bet you hear everything coming off those cars on the road. Is that right?
Yeah, see, we cover NASCAR, and we cover the Braves in the summertime. And, of course, in the fall, we had Georgia and Georgia Tech and the Falcons. So, you know, it was a pretty busy time.
And back then...
Is when the Hawks played, we advertised whoever they were playing more we did the Hawks. They were so big.
Exactly. I know exactly that. I used to go over there and get tickets practically free. They were just giving them away.
That's right. They did. So, but it was a great time. I talked to Buck Ballou last night, and Buck he hung in there when we all went through the economic downturn back in 2004. Ian Kincaid stayed there, and the only two on-air guys, everybody, all of us left. And they stayed, and of course, they back now. They've been there 25 years on air. And of course, Buck was a quarterback, and Herschel Walker won the championship there. And now he works play-by-play for Georgia on the radio side. Yeah. So he's.
But you pretty much taught him what it was him, and who's the other guy that was with y'all?
John Kincaid.
Yeah, Kincaid, yeah.
Yeah, he was a guy out of Philadelphia. But you not one thing about college football. He went to Temple, and I used to kid him all the time about that. But he was a big Philadelphia Eagles fan, and that's what kept him alive between the two, with Buck with Georgia and him with the Eagles. And so that carried, that show stayed on very well, and they're good on there.
Want to mention Big Boy's Toys Express. Big Boy Toys Express going on this starting today in Daleville, Alabama. Some of the outstanding items out there be motorcycles, trucks, and can arms, and tractors, and Sea-Doos, and all kinds of things will be for sale at an unbelievably good price. But you're going to hear great music. You're going to eat wonderful food. Our own Steve Kemp's going to be cooking one night. And let me tell you, nobody cooks crawfish like he does. And, you know, I ask him all the time, I said, what's so difficult about this, Steve? The crawfish are still crawling around in there. And you said they're ready to eat? You know, that's a shame. But
you got to put them in. When you put them in the water, they're still alive.
I know it. And a lot of you're actually picking up a live item to eat. Is that right?
That's right. That's fresh, man.
Of course, Troy is a wonderful place for crawfish because of Steve. And of course, this is located at Culpeper Park in downtown Daleville, Alabama, starting June the 13th and runs to the 15th. And there'll be some great entertainment, some wonderful food, and some great deals on some wonderful sponsors. Ed Shirling Ford, Bama Auto Sales, Boyd's Marine, United States Marine Corps, Harley Davidson, you name it, they're a sponsor. Of course, Troy Cable is one of the prime sponsors, along with Army Aviation Center, Federal Credit Union, and we appreciate them. Max Howell is our guest this morning. Now, Max, of course, are you going to cook for anybody this weekend?
Yeah,
it's Father's Day, Max. It's Father's Day.
It's Father's Day, I know, and everybody usually does their own thing on the holidays. The group I went out with last night, that's kind of my core group, and we talked a little bit about it. So we'll kind of wait till tomorrow and kind of see how many couples might be available. They do. I know what they want. They'll all want for Father's Day. They all want steak.
Yeah.
These are big beef eaters up here.
Now, well, let me ask this. Now, of course, I'm sure you probably cook them medium rare, but do you marinate them very long?
Oh, I do mine. See, it depends on. I got some I deal with, Mike, that doesn't like to lay them out. See, I cook mine at room temperature. I leave it out about 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I marinate it in basic. I do a Worcestershire, garlic, black pepper, and then I use that marinade every time I turn them. Have a high heat serum.
But you don't cook those steaks too long, though, do you?
No. 3 or 4 minutes on each side, a couple of turns, and marinate them. Depends on how rare, most of our people like a medium. Yeah. But I got about 3 or 4 like a medium rare.
Of course, will you have baked potatoes and a salad, or what will you have with it?
They've gone away from the iced potato. Everybody wants baked sweet potatoes now.
Yeah, I got you.
So we do baked sweet potatoes.
With hot butter.
Oh, man, a little cinnamon.
Yeah, you're right.
Love that. I don't put sugar on them. They're already sweet.
Yeah.
That's why they call sweet potatoes.
Yeah. Max, you became an expert in this field by accident. People kept asking you, what are you going to do this weekend? You said, well, I'm going to cook for a bunch of folks. And then people started asking you, what are you going to cook? And who's going to be there? Of course, you've cooked for some famous people.
Mike, I started that stuff really. My mom was sick most of my early childhood. So I learned to cook when I was about 10 years old, and my dad worked for a company in the fall. He worked 20 hours a day because it was a cotton gin manufacturing company, and all the Delta farmers, those cotton gins ran 24/7. So Dad was gone. He'd get up at 6 in the morning. He'd get home at midnight. So my sister and I'd come home. We lived next door to my grandparents. My granddad was a vet. And my grandma was just a house.
Wait a minute, your granddaddy was a vet, your granddaddy was a doctor. Don't you talk to me about being Poe?
Listen, my granddad was the first licensed vet in the state of Alabama.
Was it what? Was it really?
Licensed vet. He went
okay, I got you. And he's a college graduate, man. You weren't poor.
I grew up.
I bet you lived in a brick house. I bet you lived in a brick house.
Let me take, I did, but that's...
Well, you were rich then if you lived in a brick house. Hey, listen, I lived in a house where a big bag wolf could blow me down.
Here's the thing I always said. Remember when we came along? Remember this in the 40s and 50s now. We didn't have a lot of money, but I'm tell you what we did. He bartered. He'd go out and fix, he'd go into somebody's horse or cows, and I'd ride with him when I was still 11 years old. We'd treat 100 hound dogs. Which is snipper shot.
And he give you some turnip greens for your payment. Is that right?
Oh, man, a half a cow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We had.
So you ate steak regularly. Don't be telling me about a hard. You're gonna lose this battle, man. Hey, I bet you that brick house had air conditioning and it had ceiling fans.
Why do you think I got so big when I was lifted? Because I didn't know could eat beef. 3 times a day.
Well, I know this. You worked out with weights before anybody else. And when I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, he said, "How did you know that Max Howell lifted weights?" All you had to do is look at him. When you look, you'd be in that weight room. Everybody else would be scared to go in there because you were muscle bound and they weren't.
I
mean, John Fairclough went to the Hall of Fame. Of course, we know how tough he is. He didn't ever work out with weights until he got to Troy, did he?
That's right. Very true.
And Max Howell when I say Max Howell brought weightlifting to Troy, I think I'm right.
Yeah, I was one of the first. I know. Listen, Mike. I wore a 50 coat and a 36 pants.
Yeah.
My neck. You're trying to buy.
I bet you could not buy a button-down collared shirt that would fit.
I had a 22-inch neck and a 32 sleeve.
Exactly. Yeah. They thought you were Hercules. They thought you were, what was his name? Your hero?
Charles Atlas.
Yeah, Charles Atlas was your hero, and you had pictures of Charles Atlas all over your room.
That's right. That guy kicked sand in my face at the beach one time in Panama City, and I said, "I'm gonna get you, boy."
You know what? And laying all jokes aside, and Jim Tompkins, my good friend, I think he started working out after he got to Troy. That's watching you, and he looks like Hercules today. He got a. But you're the same way. When you got here, you look like a championship wrestler.
Well, here's a regret that I had in those days, Mike. We knew nothing about stretching. I mean, all we did, we lifted the ball.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But I will tell you, it carried me through high school. There wasn't nobody I played against was stronger than I was.
Even when you went over to Auburn as a recruit, you were probably much more muscle bound than they were.
I was, but I was 5'10.5", and that they are starting to bring in the 6'3", 6'4" guys.
Yeah.
So and on top of that, I knew I wasn't ever going to start there, and I thought I had a chance to go to Troy and play, but I wanted to coach.
Well, a lot of other people did too. That's where quite a few of the great players at Auburn transferred.
Oh, yeah. I mean that was. But see, remember in those days, Mike, recruiting didn't have a number.
Yeah.
When I first signed with Auburn, I think it was 111 in our freshman class.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like whatever the scholarship number the school could afford.
In fact, Parker White, he went to Auburn first, didn't he? Bobby Murchison went to Auburn first, didn't he?
That's right. Yes, he did. Both of them.
Well, we got to go, and we appreciate you calling in today, Max. We always do, and thank you so much.
All right, buddy. We'll talk next weekend.
All right, have a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed our show today. You can watch us again at 1:30 on Facebook, and we appreciate you very, very much. And we'll see you tomorrow, bright and early. Got a cake sale. Going to raise some money, and then we're going to give you a Father's Day gift that you won't believe, these wonderful cakes and pies. Have a good one. Hello.